Hey guys, it's Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another end of the year list. I've been having a lot of fun doing these. I think this one is going to be really fun, especially because I do a lot of physical media on this channel. That's kind of the main point of this channel, and this is a physical media list. It is my top 10 Blu-ray releases of 2022. If you are new to the channel, thank you for finding us. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to give us a comment, tell me what your favorite releases of 2022 were and why, and what you anticipate most in 2023, and how poor we're all going to be at the end of next year based on what I'm hearing about how many releases are coming out this year. I'm scared. I hope you are too. Let's just dive right into this, although I do want to give a shout out to our patrons, because a lot of the releases that you see on this channel are paid for with money we get from Patreon on this channel. Would definitely not be able to operate at the level it's operating at without those patrons, and we're currently we have a very active Patreon. I do exclusive reviews in there, and I've been doing some cut comparison videos recently. So I did like Police Story 3 Hong Kong versus International cut. I did Armor of God Hong Kong versus International cut. I did First Strike. I actually have I have like a digital version of the Japanese cut of that movie. So I did the Japanese versus the US cut, and like just stuff like that. And also reviews. I reviewed Beach of the War Gods, Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead. I'm reviewing Mismatched Couples coming up soon as a Patreon exclusive, so stuff like that you can go and check out. That's a Donnie Yen breakdancing film directed by Yuen Wu-ping from the 80s. So if you don't know about that, go get in Patreon. We have 2 levels, $2, $5, and or you can give more than that, and it would be very much appreciated. Let's dive right into this video. I will also say at the front of this video that I think at least half of these releases are Eureka. Eureka was definitely my label of the year in terms of my personal taste and what they were putting out. They were just killing it for me front to back of the year. I will say that Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon, which I have right here, was like number 11 for me. Let's just start with this, even though it's a top 10 list. At number 11 on my top 10 releases, this was their January release, and this was just such an amazing way to start the year, because this movie is pure fun. Like, it's just pure joy, fun, like, you know, Lau Kar-wing directed it, Sammo Hung and Karl Maka are in it. It's a cops and criminals movie from 1990. It has those old school Hong Kong vibes. It's a very silly kind of comedy, but it's also got really fun fight scenes and shootouts. And it's just, and it has the documentary on the bonus disc here is really, really fantastic. And I did a separate review of that documentary, which is called I Am the White Tiger, and about Mark Houghton, and I reviewed that separately on the channel. And it was really, really fascinating and interesting documentary, and this is just pure fun. So I'm gonna put that at number 11, and we're doing a top 11 now. I've decided, spur of the moment, top 11. Cheers to that. Let's have a sip of my peppermint mocha. I'm like really in your face right now. I just realized I'm like right up against the camera. Hello, I'm entering your living room. So okay, this is bad. I just thought, because I just said I'm entering your living room. People probably watch these videos while they're crapping, right? Isn't that when people watch YouTube? Don't people mostly watch YouTube when they're pooping? Or if you're like on the bus, I guess. I don't think a lot of people are watching my videos sitting comfortably in their living room. Anyway, at number 10 on my list of my 10 favorite releases of 2022. So why is this on here? This is the Angela Mao double feature. I just thought this was really fun. I love double features. Some people don't like them. They don't like having 2 movies packaged together. But I had never seen an Angela Mao film before, but like with her as the star. That was like a big blind spot for me, and I enjoyed the crap out of both of these movies. Lady Whirlwind, I thought, was so fascinating from the perspective of like the script, the characters, the arrangement of the characters, the structure of it, the way that you have essentially conflicting, like you have 2 protagonists in this movie who are antagonistic towards one another, which is like such a fascinating device to me. You very rarely see that. And then Hapkido is on here too, which is just a great kind of like her version of Fist of Fury, where she just goes around and beats the crap out of everyone, and it was amazing. And it's just, you learn a lot about her and about the history of these films. And Huang Feng, who's a director I'm not super familiar with, you learn a lot about him. And this was just a great release, I think, for bringing films to people that they might not be familiar with, or maybe that they haven't seen in years, and helping you see them with fresh eyes and these beautiful new prints with these great bonus features. And I just love that release. So at number 9, we have Legendary Weapons of China from 88 Films, because it's fucking Legendary Weapons of China, and I don't think I need to say anything else about that. It's just one of the best martial arts kung fu, whatever you want to call it, movies ever freaking made, directed by Lau Kar-leung, and it's just bananas and insane and incredible. And it's now on Blu-ray, and it looks fantastic, and it's got great bonus features on it. What else needs to be said? So at number 8 on my list of my favorite Blu-ray releases of 2022, we're back to Eureka. And it's The Dead and the Deadly. I loved this movie, and what I love about this release is that this is a really great, like, marquee, excellent, like, high value release in terms of like great bonus material on it, great essay, great artwork. Like the movie looks incredible. And I've heard people who are like really big sticklers about the look of film saying like, oh, the Hong Kong Blu-ray of that movie was great. It preserved the intention of the director with the original colors. Like, is this one going to be as good? And everyone's saying, yeah, yes, it's excellent. It's fantastic. And I love this movie, and I love the fact that this is not as well known as some of the other films that are getting these big high-profile releases, and that Eureka kind of was willing to do that for this release. I loved this movie. I liked this movie more than Encounter the Spooky Kind, which I have right here, which is a classic Sammo Hung film, like horror comedy, martial arts ghost type of movie, and this is the same, and I loved this movie, and I could say a lot of amazing things about it, but I'm just really happy that it exists on this fantastic edition, and that Eureka's, I mean, to me, that's a risk for Eureka. Like, putting out Jackie Chan movies is not a risk. Putting out certain Donnie Yen films, certain Sammo films, like Shaw Brothers films, like there's not a ton of risk involved in releases like that. With a release like that, I do think there's a bit of risk involved financially. And so for them to be willing to do that and to give us a great edition of that film, I just think is really fantastic. So next, a movie I just reviewed. I don't know if my review will be up before or after this video, so we'll have to wait and see. Yes, madam, yet again from Eureka. So this is a classic movie. Obviously, if you know the movie, you know the movie. It's like kind of ground zero for Girls with Guns films, and it's produced by Sammo Hung, directed by Corey Yuen. It stars Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock. It has an amazing cast. It came out in 1985. But so what about this release? I loved this release, and let me tell you why I loved this release. I loved this release because it allowed me to see this movie with completely fresh eyes. It completely recontextualizes what I understood about this film. I didn't know that there was a director's cut of this film. According to legend, there's a director's cut of this film that didn't have any of the well, not any, but didn't have a lot of comedy in it. It was like a really serious, violent, brutal movie. And D&B, which is the company that put the movie out, was kind of like, and then they did reshoots. They added comedy. I didn't know that Sammo was originally going to direct this film, that he cast the movie, that he came up with the idea for it. There's so much stuff about this movie I didn't know. And also thinking about that this came out in 85, the same year as Police Story. It actually came out before Police Story. And the fact that it's like a modern gunfighting movie, and like I kind of just completely re-understand this movie. I have a fresh and new understanding of it, maybe a better way to put it. How it fits in the continuum of action films, Hong Kong films, and kind of the process behind the making of it. So I think this was a tremendous release in terms of helping you understand the movie more fully, instead of it just being like a piece of entertainment that you watch and move on, but getting it historically and where it lands and all these other things. So next up, I have a release I actually didn't even plan on getting. It was sent to me by one of our patrons, so huge shout out to Kevin, because Kevin sent this to me all the way from Ireland, ironically, because it's a US release. It's Righting Wrongs from Vinegar Syndrome. So my plan was to get the 88 Films release of this, because they have the ultimate cut on it, which I really wanted to get, and this was sent to me, and I was like, well, I have this now, I should just watch this. And like Vinegar Syndrome went all out. Like they went all out to make a banging, amazing release for this classic Hong Kong film. Now, obviously, probably part of that was they knew they were competing with the 88 Films release, so they had to go all out, but they really went all out on this release. There's a thing, so this is my first Vinegar Syndrome release. I have Vinegar Syndrome partner label releases, but this is my first like full-on Vinegar Syndrome release. There's something on here which I don't know if you have on every Vinegar Syndrome release, so let me know in the comments whether this is the case. But there's like a Reels function, what do you call it? A Reels, what is the word I'm looking for? On the menu, you have the option of choosing reels from the film. So, film was shot in film reels, and then it was edited together, and the edit was printed onto reels, and then the reels were shown consecutively in the movie theater. And you can skip to reels in this and see what each reel in the film was, like what it consisted of. And that's really fascinating to me, because a lot of that, the physical aspect of cinema is being lost in the digital age. And so for them to be invested in preserving this this notion of understanding a film, that it's put into reels, and this is what's on this reel, this is what's on this reel, and allowing you on a Blu-ray in a digital medium, on a digitally scanned copy of a film, to skip to the reels and kind of see how it would have been shown and how it was originally printed up after it was edited. I just think that attention to detail and the love of like the cinema experience, the cinematic experience, the cinephile experience, the experience of loving film and celluloid as like a medium, I think is really, really cool. And then you get a booklet here, which is a really cool booklet, which has got lots of writing about the film and like history of D&B films and all this cool stuff. And then within the box, there is a slipcase. And then, look at that. I love this artwork. And then that pops out to this. And then you get 3 discs. There's an entire documentary on here about like the history of martial arts films, and there's multiple cuts of the movie. There's enormous amounts of like hours and hours of interviews. Like, this really is like an A+ release. So I props to Vinegar Syndrome for going all out and giving this much effort for this release. So that's Righting Wrongs. And that was number 5, or was that number 6? Because we're doing 11. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, that makes sense. So this is 6. That was 7, I guess. Wherever we are in the list, I thought this was 4, and then 3, 2, 1. So this is 5. Okay. I figured out where I am in my counting. And so there's actually 2 movies that I have at number 5 on my favorite Blu-ray releases of 2022, and it's the Chameleon Films Johnny To releases. So I haven't watched Exiled yet. I do have to give you full confession. I freaking love this artwork. I just have not had the time to watch this yet. But I loved Breaking News. This is an incredible release. The movie looks fantastic. It was great to rewatch this movie. There's multiple interviews with Johnny To on here. There's commentary with Frank. There's a video essay, I believe, on here about like the use of propaganda in how this. Yeah, it's called A Propaganda Duel, a newly extended video essay on Breaking News. There's a deleted scene. There's behind the scenes footage, and like a brand new essay that's in here that's called The Show Must Go On, Cops and Robbers in Post Handover Hong Kong. And this is like a pretty extensive booklet here. And I just think Chameleon, they're a brand new label. This is their very first release, Breaking News. And then Exiled, I think, is either number 2 or 3. Is number 3. And they really went all out on these releases. And they are releasing more Johnny To films in the new year, which I'm super, super excited about. And so I'm just really hyped on this label. And I think they did an amazing job with this film. This is like an A+ release to me. I've heard that this is too. Everyone tells me this is just as good, if not better, than this release. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I thought I would put them both on there just to give hype to the label and also to get you excited about it. So before we get into the top 5, there's a couple things I want to say. There are a few big releases from this year that I just have not had the time to watch, and so we're not under consideration for this list. One of them is On the Run from 88 Films. So, like if you don't see that on this list, don't assume that it's not a good release. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet because there's been so much stuff that's been coming out this year, and people have been so generous and have been sending me so many movies on top of the stuff that I'm buying myself with our Patreon money to review that I just have not had. And another one actually is the Infernal Affairs release from Criterion. Times Square Kung Fu told me that's a fantastic release, and I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And shout out to PerryFan49 who was kind enough to send that to me, but I just haven't dug into it yet. So I haven't been able to check it out, so I apologize for that. So let's get into the top 5. At number 5, I actually have a Taiwanese film, and I know this is a Hong Kong Cinema Channel. It's a Eureka release. You'll know what it is if you know. It's Execution in Autumn. It was one of my favorite movies I watched this year. This movie absolutely freaking blew me away. And this is on here more for the movie itself than for the release. This is not a film I was familiar with at all. I don't think this is a super high-profile film outside of the world of like Taiwanese art house films or Taiwanese films in general. And I was just overwhelmed and completely blown away and stunned by it. There is an amazing 44-minute video kind of essay on here with Tony Raines where he kind of analyzes the film and talks about it. There's a really cool thing where they show you the restoration footage. So they show you what the footage looked like and how it was restored. There's not a ton of bonus material on here, but to me that doesn't matter because what this release is about is this movie and how freaking incredible this movie is. And like, again, Eureka taking risks. Like, this is not one of those movies where it's like, oh yeah, that's going to sell 1 million copies. This is one of those movies where you announce it and people are like, what? What is that? Except, of course, for fans of Taiwanese cinema and kind of like Asian art house cinema and stuff like that. But I think more broadly speaking, that is not a high-profile film, and it is freaking incredible. I cannot overemphasize that. If you have $15 lying around, or $20 or 15 pounds, or however much this costs, and you don't know what to spend it on, and you're looking to get another movie, I highly urge you to get this. It's very kind of like Kurosawa-esque, but it's not. It's more like Kurosawa's like Redbeard type of movies, like his dramas. It's not like there's no people like running around killing each other with swords and stuff like that. It's kind of like a contemplative period piece existential drama, but it's like a really beautiful, incredible movie. I can't recommend it highly enough. So now we are in the top 4. So I'm just trying to think of the order that I'm putting these in. So at number 4, I mean, you can't make this list without putting this on here. It's not even going to fit in the freaking frame. Shawscope Volume 2. So why am I putting a set with like 12 movies on it with all this amazing bonus feature with this incredible packaging that's like one of the most highly anticipated things of the year at number 4? That seems kind of low. The main reason, honestly, is I haven't had a chance to watch anything on here yet, but I have watched Volume 1, and Volume 1 is incredible, and everyone tells me Volume 2 is just as, if not even more incredible, and I cannot wait to dig in. I was thinking maybe like over the holidays I might do like a Shaw marathon and get some of these movies watched. We'll see if I have the time, but I mean, it's just this, like, it's almost like it's not fair to put this on this list because it deserves its own list. Like, it's a box set with 12 movies in it that's like some of the most iconic Hong Kong films ever made, and like, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, where do you even freaking put this on this list, right? It's like you're making a list of your best albums of the year, and it's like a bunch of individual albums, and then someone put out a box set of like every Beatles album. It's like what? It's like, what do you even do with that, right? But yeah. So that had to be on the list. I wasn't exactly sure where to put it. I knew it had to go near the top, and I was like, well, I'll just put it at number 4. So now we're in my top 3 releases of the year, and you'll probably know what these are if you know me, if you know what came out this year. It is probably not a surprise to you, but this just dive right in. So this is actually, it's number 3 on this list, but the other 2 are box sets. So this is my number 1 standalone movie release of the year, Police Story 3 Super Cop, which I actually said in my review of this movie a couple months ago. Up till now, this is my number 1 standalone movie release of the year, and it retained that position all the way until the end of the year. And there you have the artwork on the inside. It's just amazing. It's an amazing release. There's nothing else that you could want on a release of this film. It's got interviews with everyone. It's got amazing commentary tracks. It's got multiple cuts of the film. It's got all the audio options. It looks freaking incredible. It's one of the best action movies ever made. You know how much I love Jackie Chan. Michelle Yeoh is incredible. She's phenomenal in this film. I mean, there's nothing not to say. It's mind-blowing and incredible, and what else can be said? Props to Eureka for putting that out. So we're into the top 2 now. And at number 2, we have something that was gifted to me by one of our subscribers here on YouTube, Louise. Thank you so much for sending this my way. This is a set. Let me show you what it is. It's the Tiger Cage set. So this was not like when this was announced, I would not have put this in my list of like the marquee releases of the year. This was not one of the ones where I'm like, I have to get that. That's like the most highly anticipated one I needed immediately. It was not on that list. And Louise was kind enough to send it to me. And I have enjoyed this so much, I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed it. Now, to be fair, I have not watched the third one yet. The first one is like my new favorite movie. It is freaking incredible, and I absolutely loved it. It is just an incredible, perfect, amazing cops and criminals thriller, heroic bloodshed, like late 80s action. The script is freaking phenomenal. The cast is incredible. The performances are amazing. Like, there's just nothing bad to say about the first film. It's like a 5 out of 5 for me, like perfect film from that era. And then the second one, which I have reviewed, I don't know if my review will come out before or after this video, is basically just like exactly what you want. I think this came out in 1990. So from that heroic bloodshed era, like the post-John Woo era, if you wanted like an action movie with martial arts, shooting, amazing chases, a great cast, strong performances, a decent story, but really the focus is on just nonstop, incredible, amazing action. That's what the second one is. Like, it's just start to finish, fight scenes, chases, shootouts, and innovative, like interesting stuff too. Like if you want to sit down with your friends and have a beer or an orange juice or whatever you like to have when some celery sticks and some peanut butter, and just watch an awesome action film from Hong Kong from that era, that is the perfect one to watch. Like, and the movies look incredible on this set. The bonus features are fantastic. I freaking love this artwork from Sean Longmore, and This set defied all my expectations and is it's brought me like so much tremendous joy this year that I can't even begin to articulate how much I love it. So that's number 2. And at number 1, you know what it is. I don't even have to show you. Like, the video could end right now and you would already know, because you have to know, because nothing else could be number 1 if you know me, if you watch this channel. It's the Police Story Trilogy 4K box set from Eureka. I haven't reviewed this yet. I have watched the films. I haven't watched there's multiple cuts of the films on here, which I have not watched yet, and there's shitloads of bonus material, and like I said, so many releases are coming out that I watched Super Cop. I blew through that. I reviewed it right away. I did a video about receiving this and talking about all the bonus material on here, and I have watched the main cuts of each of the film, but there's just so much stuff on here. I haven't made my way through yet to review it, and people on Patreon are like, when are you going to review it? Let's review it. Police Story, and it's multiple cuts of Police Story on here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Is this the one with multiple cuts on it? So it has the original Hong Kong theatrical cut at 100 minutes, and then the Police Force export cut at 88 minutes. Audio commentaries, interviews, like interview with Jackie Chan, deleted scenes. Police Story 2, which I think is one of the most underrated action movies ever made, has the extended cut at 121 minutes and the original theatrical at 105 minutes. And then it also has the alternate export version at 95 minutes. It's got multiple language tracks. It's got multiple commentary tracks. It's got interviews. It's got the Jackie Chan Son of the Incredibly Strange Film Show episode, which is also on the Criterion set for the Police Story films, which is one of my favorite bonus features ever. It's like this 50-minute long documentary about Jackie from when he was making... It was like when he was making Miracles, Mr. Canton and Lady Rose, Canton Godfather, whatever you like to call that film. So there's like footage from the set of that film and just amazing behind the scenes stuff, interviews, everything like that. And then we have Super Cop Police Story 3, which you'll know what's on this because you know what's on the DVD, or the Blu-ray rather, not the 4K. And then you have this amazing booklet. It's just an incredible set. It's an incredible experience. It's an incredible hard-shell box. There's nothing negative to be said about it. It's the Police Story Trilogy on 4K from Eureka. My name is Will. You are watching Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. This is my #1 release of 2022. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.